All right, gang, welcome back to our vanilla survival with a twist here on Osweiler. It is October, and as mentioned, we are putting in the Spelt in the ground here today. Now, this field over here, it still says that the actual fertilization on it, or the nitrogen, is perfect, but it says 0, so I don't know. Maybe it doesn't need... Doesn't really make any sense, but maybe I've never really done it. I don't know, but maybe it doesn't really need the fertilizer. I don't know, but anyway, it's it says perfect, even though it may not really specifically look perfect. Now, field straight ahead over there, which is the rye, that is going to need to be sprayed. I don't think we're going to spray it today, though. I think we'll spray it in the next month. This one will likely be a little bit of a shorter episode, I think. Kind of rushing to try to get this one done before I'm gone for a quick weekend here. I mentioned that in the past that I am out of town for a brief, long weekend here, and a little behind. Work's been a bit... I feel like I say it all the time, but it's the truth. Work's been a little brutal. I've had some emergency bridge type of calls and things that are just kind of controlling my my nights here a bit. So anyway... we'll see what we can get done. Might end up being just this field, and, well, really, besides this field and spraying that field over there, there really wouldn't be a whole lot else for us to do anyway. It didn't seem like, even though I feel like it should, it didn't seem like that field over there needed to be sprayed, which I thought was a little weird. We will look at it, I guess, a little bit closer once we get done here, but, yeah. I think even if we wait till the next month anyway, it'll be fine, because once this field's done, we're not going to have a whole lot we can do for a little while, right? We're literally going to be in the winter months at that point, so... if we go into here, and we go over to here, tells you the growth, the soil compensation. I mean, it doesn't really seem like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna move on. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. Everyone, for the most part, seems to be enjoying this new map, this new series specifically. Well, this is not a new series, I guess, but this series on this new map. It's a good one, man. I really do like it. It's a fun map. I'm very excited about continuing and seeing where we get to. On this shorter hiatus of this series, more than likely. You never know. Maybe we do run it longer than I'm anticipating, right? I guess it really depends on how much I'm enjoying it, and not even just me, but how much you're enjoying it as well, right? So we got $45,000 because we made, you know, the tough decisions we did in the last episode. So technically, we could also consider putting down some chickens and things like that. We do have some crop in the silos that we could sell. I'm not going to do that today. That $45,000 is honestly plenty of money at the time right now. So I'm not too concerned about the money situation. We'll hold off and sell those when it's the best time to sell them. Also, would like to put down the chickens once again here soon, as mentioned, and take some of that crop and you know, utilize that for chicken feed, if you will, so we can actually get some eggs going, because those eggs will produce a good amount of money for us. Now, if you happen to be a member on the channel, since I'm going to be out of town, I apologize. By the time this one comes out, I don't think you're going to have a whole lot else to watch. We'll get back in the groove here after this episode, and you'll start having a lot more out there again. But I just ran out of time. Like I said, I'm trying to rush through and get this one done for you, so there's no break at all. You have a video every day, if you will. But yeah, just, you know, life. I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm sure I'll say it 1,000 more. Life sometimes gets in the way, right? Real life gets in the way sometimes. I wish I could just do this all day. I just, unfortunately, I can't, but I wish I could. If I could, I absolutely 100% would. I'd have all these crazy ideas I had. I'd probably have 2 episodes out a day or something like that, right? I'd probably be pumping the episodes out as much as I could. But then again, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would just have a lot longer of episodes for each one, maybe. Maybe that's what I would end up doing. I don't know. I don't know. I've never really thought about that until just now. You know, what would I do if I did this as my real-time, full-time job? Yeah, I think maybe the more I think about it, I think I would just do longer episodes versus, having 2 episodes a day. While I do certainly have quite a lot of ideas that I've mentioned many times before, I think if I had that many series going, I would run out of ideas very quickly. Yeah, I think just longer episodes would probably be the way to go. Probably a lot less utilizing workers and things like that, right? Doing it all myself, making the episodes longer. Yeah. I think that makes a lot more sense the more you think about it. Now, this is a big field, right? And this Spelt, there's only 1 month. The only month you can actually drill Spelt is October. But Spelt makes a pretty decent amount of money for us, so I'm very happy about it, being able to actually get it in the ground here. And it'll be exciting, right? Because we've got 3 different crops here. I think the Spelt was what we harvested initially on one of these, but 3 different crops here that, we've never really done on the channel. So, kind of exciting. At least for me, it is. I would love to buy that little island with the trees there and get rid of those here sometime in the near future. I think that would be nice to have. Problem with that is, we're playing vanilla, right? And we did it in the last vanilla survival with a twist, right? We did it there, but it's not the most elegant thing to do, right? It is a little difficult to get rid of all those tree stumps, right? And it costs a lot of money, right? I would need a winch at a bare minimum. And really, I probably, in this series, because we're so far away from any kind of a sawmill, I probably would want, a trailer and kind of a front loader with the log fork or something on it, right? I would probably want, something a little bit different, I would think, versus a winch, because we'd have to be pulling it through all of the traffic, all the roads, and it just would not probably work out as well as we might think, right? All right, so what else? Really, I want to get those chickens down at some point, and maybe we do it today. Maybe we do it today. I don't know yet, but I probably won't. I probably won't do today. I'll probably just be working on this field here. Maybe we potentially buy a herbicide sprayer of some sort. Maybe we look at a contract as well. I don't know. Really depends. From a time-wise perspective, I'm not quite sure. I'll have the time to do all these things that I specifically want to do today. But like I said, it's not that big of a deal if we don't. It'll be a little bit shorter of an episode for you to watch, which probably a little disappointing. But, we're getting ready to be the winter months here. We only have 3 fields. We don't have a ton of other things that we have to do, right? We don't have a ton of things to go and sell. We don't have a ton of, animals or things that, might need more maintenance type of stuff. We don't have a grass field. We don't have anything like that. So, it's not like holding off to do that in the winter months is a bad thing, right? It gives us a little bit more to do if we do that approach, right? The only negative of it is if we were to put the chickens down now, we would produce a little more eggs in the long run, right? Now we're kind of holding off on doing that. But again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Speaking of contracts, what do we have out there? Of course. Nope, no, never mind. Why is there... Oh, there's no pins. There's no pins on the map, which is kind of interesting. Okay, all right. There are some contracts out there for us. I'm going to turn around here. We'll look at them once again. I don't have steering assist on. Maybe I should. But, I've been moving through it relatively fine without it, so we'll just keep going here. Mowing, harvesting, cultivating... stone picking, tedder grass. None of these things are items that we have, which is a bit unfortunate. because we could make a little extra money. But I guess we'd have to just take a peek and see, you know, what we're looking at. I really don't want to do the plowing. I really disliked that. I really did. That's the reason why I'm not specifically doing the plowing and on this series, at least not yet, just because I do not like those plows. I like the, I guess the unrealistic. They're all pull behind, so what I'm going to say probably doesn't really make a lot of sense if you didn't watch the other one, but, you know, the ones that I normally use that are not at an angle, they're more just directly horizontally behind you, right? Versus a more angled vertical approach that, you know, your traditional plows are, I guess, right? What those look like, I guess. That harvesting one would take forever, though, too. Maybe the cultivating one. That one might be something we can consider. That would be a nice tiny bit of extra funds for us, too. There's a chance also with this episode, if you are a member on the channel, bear with me for a minute if you're not, that this didn't get uploaded in time, so I'm probably going to be uploading it late Monday night. I get back Monday night. So it'll be out there for Tuesday, but you might not have a whole lot of time to watch it ahead of time like you normally would. But anyway. All right, we're about halfway there now. Still a ways to go. Do a quick autosave here. These fields specifically, they have a silty clay almost entirely on this field, and then some loam at the very top left corner. Loam is obviously the best. That's what you want. Gives you the best, you know, potential, I guess, for a higher yield, right? But silty clay is not terrible. Obviously, it's a very light green that we got going on here, but it's not terrible, right? It's not terrible. Loamy sand. I don't remember how good loamy sand is. I guess loamy sand's relatively okay as well. All right, what else can we talk about? I don't have a ton to talk about today, if I'm honest with you. I don't really. I'm kind of blanking, which is not normal for me. I normally like to rant. You all know that. There won't be. There will not be an extra episode of the competitive one-tile challenge this week. I will say that to you. This Thursday, there will not be one. It'll just be on Saturday. That's because I'm out of town. We weren't able to, unfortunately, get another one done beforehand. And the guys and I, obviously, our 3 schedules lining up on 2 days is already difficult enough versus having another day. So unfortunately there won't be one this Thursday, so I apologize for that, but there will be a replacement video for it. It just won't happen to be the competitive one-tile challenge. So but following next week, we'll be right back in the groove once again, and hopefully be having 2 episodes yet again for you to watch. But it'll be either probably this series or the Kindleg series or potentially the Agroforest. I don't know. I'm considering kind of, you know, doing another one on the Agroforest here, maybe 1 or 2 more, and then maybe calling that series it. You know, it's supposed to be a mini-series by definition. It does appear that, to an extent, we would be able to actually accomplish the goals we want to in that series, but it would not be perfect. You know, it was more of a, you know, a test for some different ideas that I had in my brain to see if it actually could work or not. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Maybe I run it a little bit longer than that. I don't know, but I'm kind of considering being done with that series, calling that mini-series done. A couple other individuals had some ideas in that series specifically around, you know, why did I raise it up in the air? Why didn't I just, you know, flatten it down on the ground? And you're right, I could have did it that way. Maybe I should have, but I just thought it would be a little bit cheaper, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't going to be cheaper that way. I don't know. And I thought, you know, given the fact of those logs, or whatever you want to call them, right, that are there and cannot be removed, right? If there's some of those that are higher up, it might just look a little weird. Although I guess it looks weird no matter which way you cut it. I don't know. So who knows, right? That one's just one I'm kind of thinking a little bit more about on what I want to do there. How I want to continue that one, if I want to continue that one. One thing we can talk about is the 10,000 subscriber special that came out. A lot of people seem to be interested in that. A lot of people liked the map and liked what I created there and have asked if I would consider in the future running a series on that. I do think that's a good idea. I do still have the save. I kept the save on purpose just in case that was the case, because I really do like what I created there. I think it's a really nice and cool looking yard area. I guess it's a tiny bit of a spoiler if you haven't watched it, but go watch it if you haven't. It came out last Wednesday. Yeah, I'm not against doing a series on there. It would have to be a series at this point where we would have to have a pretty significant loan, because we don't have, any money left. We had like $44 left, I think. And $44 with no equipment, pretty hard to do anything. So I think we would have to take out at least some kind of a loan to do anything there. Not against it by any means, but I think we would have to take out some kind of a loan. So I have to think about, what kind of a series I could do on that. I'm not quite sure what I would run. I'd have to think about it some more. But I definitely think there's some opportunity for us on that one. I do. I think that would. I think we could turn it into a good series. It's just a fact of what kind of series we would do. Part of me was thinking, because it's one of the maps where there's not specifically fields on the map, right? So part of it was me thinking, well, maybe we could turn it into some kind of a hybrid survival challenge of some sort. But the problem there is, we already have a ton of stuff, right? And if you're doing a survival challenge, you normally start with, a tractor or a tractor, a trailer, whatever, and a chainsaw, and like that's really it, right? We already have, and we don't have any equipment, but we already have a lot of stuff put down, right? So I'm not quite sure that's the way to go for that series. So I think I might have to consider something else. Maybe I'll look through my list of things that I have and see if I can think or figure out a way that maybe that would work for us, or an idea that I have that would work for us, I guess is how I should put it. But that's something to think about in the future, right? It's not going to be anytime soon. We've got this series running for a while. We've got the Kind Lake series running for a while. So one of those is going to have to end before we even consider something like that. And I've already talked about, and some of my members already know this, right? I've got another series that's on the docket that I think is going to be really... I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. I think a lot of people are going to want to try to take on a different type of series that's similar to that, or maybe even take on that exact same series when the time does come that it becomes a more public thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, my members get access to one extra video a month where we kind of go through different ideas that are in my brain and see if we can figure out a way to make those work, whether it's a challenge or a series or whatever it may be, and then take their input, right? And I try to incorporate some of their ideas and input that they might give me, right? That's one of the perks they get besides just getting to see all these videos early. That's another perk that they get for supporting me in the channel. So all right, that field is done, so we can go ahead and put this away. And let's see if we can see anything else to do potentially today. I'm not sure, like I said, if there's going to be anything, but let me see what I can find here. All right, gang, I decided to go ahead and do it. We're going to put the chickens back down. I mean, might as well, right? I might as well. So it's saying overlaps something here. I don't know what it's overlapping there. Maybe that's part of the problem from before. I don't know. But we're going to put it kind of in an angle right here. Something like that, I think. I think that'll be good. We'll go with there. And I'm going to have to do a little smoothing here, or a little softening here. Doesn't got to be perfect, but as long as we can drive into it relatively normal. All right, that should, in theory, do the trick. So let's get some of the crop out of here, and we can put some of it into the chicken coop here. Hopefully it'll work this time. And then hopefully we can buy some chickens at that point as well. I got all the icons and everything on, so we'll go with the wheat. I don't know how much it actually takes. I don't know how much it holds. I would assume it's not much, and I don't really think we need much more than that. If it does hold more than that, I don't think we need much more than that, because we're going to buy a very, very tiny amount of chickens and let them reproduce. Yeah, I think you guys were right. You guys all mentioned in previous episodes that it was probably something to do with the size of that that trailer, right? We got the smaller trailer, and it seems to be working fine, so I probably could have put it back to exactly where we had it at the beginning. But that's all right. You know, we lost a little bit of money in the process of doing that, but, you know, it's fine. It's fine. All right, so we'll leave that there for right now. Let's go over here and buy some chickens and get that going again. And I'll continue to clean this area up a little bit more off camera, if you will. So we want, I know everyone says you don't need one, but I always like to buy a rooster, so I'm going to do so anyway. And then I'm going to buy 5. $275. That's not outrageous. They can reproduce for the rest of it. There we go. We've got our chickens in there, man. All right, good, good, good. I'm very happy now. There should be enough room here as well for us to be able to pick these pallets up right here without really running into the house or anything, so we should be fine. Perfect. All right, gang. Well, we're going to leave the episode at that point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button in the case you've yet to do so. They are free to do. They help me out a ton. Thanks to my members. Cannot thank them enough. There's a link down below if you're interested. Also, check out my second channel. Links down there. Discord's down there. Everything you need, as always, down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Apologize for a little bit of a shorter episode than you're normally used to, but hopefully you understand. Thanks for watching. See you next time.